So what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. There are a couple of YouTubers that I do follow. I watch their videos, and I notice at the very same time, Tavarish, his channel, and Hoovie's Garage, Tyler Hoover, both put videos out saying that they're going to sell all of their vehicles off. So of course I tune into their channel, I tune into this video, and I start watching, and I realize very quickly that basically what they're saying is, yeah, some are realistically for sale, but for the most part they don't want to sell their vehicles. But if you come in at this very high number that they put on their vehicles, they'll consider selling it. And I don't blame them. I understand. Hey, it gets views, whatever. So you know what? I may not be the best leader, but I am a good follower at times. So why not? All my vehicles are for sale as of this moment. Starting with my 1972 De Tomaso Pantera, 351 Cleveland, ZF 5-speed. Motor's been warmed up just a little bit. I would guess it's somewhere around 400, 450 horsepower. Very nice car, very presentable car. Not the nicest one out there, but a very nice car indeed. And I don't want to sell it. I'll be very, very honest with you. I don't want to sell it. Don't make me an offer. Don't come talk to me. Don't tempt me, because honestly, it would take north of $100,000 for me to sell that car, and I don't want to sell it. But if you really want it and you come in north of $100,000, we can definitely talk. The next vehicle, sitting right next to the Pantera, is my 1967 Shelby Cobra 427 replica. It is a replica. It is not a true original Shelby Cobra. This is a kit car. It's got a big block, 4-speed manual transmission. Very nice, very clean. Under 8,000 miles since the car was built, and that was back in the, I think, early to mid 90s. I've had this car even before I had the channel. So honestly, I don't really want to sell it either. I'm thinking probably around 50. If someone offered me 50 for the car, I would be very, very tempted to take it. We could definitely talk at that number and maybe work something out, but truthfully, I don't want to sell it. Next in line, and I know it's kind of dark, it just looks like a regular Sonoma, but it is a 1991 GMC Cyclone, I want to say 88,000 original miles, somewhere in that area. Fresh paint, fresh wheels. I do have the stock wheels for it. Everything works. AC, windows. It spools up good, it runs strong, very clean little truck, interior is immaculate basically. And it's another one I don't want to sell. I've actually had several people asking me about it lately, and I really don't want to sell it. I know what I'm into the truck, I know what I've done to the truck, and I would have to say, I'm just going to say $35,000. I don't think it's worth $35,000, which shows that I really don't want to sell it. But if someone were to offer me $35,000, that would be enough of a profit. I really couldn't pass it up. So maybe. My 71 Camaro split bumper, 572 big block turbo 400 transmission, 389 rear gears, very nice setup. This car is clean inside and out, runs good. I think it could use a little tweaking, a little fine tuning. My plan is still yet to put a fuel injection system on it, but the car runs very, very good, very strong. I mean, the motor's rated at 620 horsepower, and it does feel like 620 horsepower. Paint's nice, interior's nice. It's got tilt, 4-wheel disc brakes. It's a very nice car. This one I would be a little bit more serious about selling. I don't want to sell it, but if someone got right in the neighborhood of 50, I'm going to say right in the neighborhood of 50. You notice I'm just saying in the neighborhood of on all these prices. That shows you I'm not really that serious about selling it. But if someone got in the neighborhood of 50, I would strongly consider it for this car. I think that's a decent number for the car, truthfully. And I could probably let it go at that price range. Next, it is my 1964 Chevrolet Corvette. I love this car. Great driving car. It's a small block 4-speed. It's not a numbers matching car. It's just got a crate 350. Everything seems to work on it. I don't think there's anything that doesn't work on the car. It rides nice, it drives nice, it shifts nice. It's got a very stiff clutch. Just replaced the clutch not that long ago. And it is a very heavy duty clutch. You could probably throw a lot more horsepower behind it if you really wanted to. And it's a car I don't want to sell. Honestly, I don't want to sell it either. However, can't keep them forever. So again, this one would be, I'd say in the range of around 50. We could talk $50,000. We could definitely talk about it. I don't think that's crazy money for this car necessarily, but I do think it's above the market value. So yeah, 50, like I said, we could talk, but I don't really want to sell it, no. My 65 Chevy pickup that I have had for 30 something years, 31 years, something like that, 36 years, I think 36 years. I don't know, I'm getting old, I can't remember, but I've had it for a very long time, since my 16th, well actually I was a 15 when I got it, right before my 16th birthday. My dad bought it brand new. I don't want to sell that truck. I mean, just being very, very honest. I mean, I don't think there's a number that someone could offer me that would tempt me. It would definitely be well into six figures, which is well beyond what this truck is worth. I mean, it's just a small block crate, 330 horse, 350, 700R transmission, 333 gears, disc brakes up front, Dakota Digital, vintage heat and air. I mean, it's clean, it's nice, it's an older build, paint's nice, it's decent, but it's not beautiful. So, I mean, yeah, obviously I don't want to sell it when I'm talking six figures, and it would take well into the six figures. I'm not just talking about straight, I'll give you $100,000 and I'll sell it. Nah, that wouldn't even tempt me. It would be well into six figures, so I don't want to sell it. Next in line is the 79 Trans Am. Again, I don't really want to sell this car either. I mean, I would for the right price. It's a nice car. I've had a few people hit me up and ask me about it. I haven't pursued anything as far as wanting to sell it. You know, the realistic value on this car right now is probably low to mid 20s. Realistically, that's what it would sell at. It's a nice car. Everything works. Heat, air, windows go up and down. It's a nice cruising car, nice driving car. I could daily drive this car. So like I said, low to mid 20s is what a realistic number is for this car. I would need mid 30s just because I don't want to sell it. I promised it to my stepdaughter at some point in time in her life. So I really don't want to sell the car, but you know, mid 30s, I could find another one. Next in line is my Knight Rider Replica. It is a car that I have said for a while I probably should go ahead and let it go. It is a good running car. It is a nice running car. It will not pass California smog the way it sits, but it does. I mean, air conditioning works, windows go up and down. It's just a nice driving car. Electronics work. It talks to you. Scanner in front works. It is a cool car. This one I'd probably be a little bit more realistic about selling, although I don't want to sell it. I'll be honest again. I would say it would probably be somewhere around the low 30s would be the number that I would consider selling it for, just because I'd be making enough of a profit where I couldn't really pass it up. You know, it comes a point when it's like, really can't pass up this profit on this car. And it's a nice car, but it's not the nicest out there. But yeah, I'd say probably low to mid 30s is what I'd be talking about. This is another car that, you know, there's not a big call for four-door cars, and that's okay. I'm okay with it. I love this car. It's my wedding car. My wife would be very upset with me if I sold it, so I really don't want to sell it, but because I'm putting a price on every other vehicle in here, I'll put a price on this one too. And I'm just going to say, 50. I know it's not worth anywhere near that, maybe half that. But yeah, it's a 58 Silver Special. Numbers matching, original miles, never been touched. Interior's been gone through one time. It's got one repaint, and it is a nice car. It's a nice driving car. It's not worth 50. I know it's not worth 50. It's worth, like I said, maybe half that to the right buyer. But yeah, it would probably take 50 to pry it out of my hands. My General Lee Replica, as you may or may not know, it's a 68 Dodge Charger body. It's on a 2001 Dodge Durango running gear frame, everything like that. So it's all just, it's like driving a Dodge Durango basically, except you get the Dixie horn and you get the look of a General Lee Charger, which is kind of cool. I like it. I dig this car. I have thought seriously I would probably sell it. I probably should sell it. A buddy of mine really wants to buy. I told him I would give it to him for what I've got in it. So that's probably going to be the plan at some point in time when I decide to sell it. If someone wanted to buy it right now, it's going to be basically like Kit. It's probably going to be low to mid 30s for me to let that one go. Not a horrible price. It's not like crazy. I'm not talking crazy money, so that's a little bit more realistic, but I don't want to sell it. I mean, I just don't. So moving back here, this is my 1995 Dodge Viper. This is really a cool car. Gets a lot of attention. I've had a few people ask me about this one. I don't really want to sell it. Got 22,000 original miles, super clean inside and out, runs great, air works, new tires, and I don't want to really sell it, but you know, I would say if someone came in and offered me 40, I would consider that. That's kind of the number that I have in mind. If someone came up and threw $40,000 cash in front of me, I'd probably take it. Again, it's enough of a profit where I really probably couldn't pass it up, but I don't want to sell it. I really don't want to sell it. My 2002 Lightning, this truck has almost 160,000 miles on it, but it did have a replacement motor done by Ford at 125,000. I upgraded the sound system, I've lowered it, put the tonneau cover or hard cover, whatever you want to call it, on it. It's got tinted windows. Other than that, it's pretty much basic. I mean, it's got a tune, it's got a ported blower, it's got I think exhaust, cold air intake, and it's turned out a little bit more horsepower than stock. Cool truck, gets a lot of attention. I've had some attention on it, and I've had some people ask me about buying it. Honestly, you know, I think realistically, I would consider selling this truck just because I'm a little bit more serious about this than the other ones. But it would take $20,000 to pry it out of my hands. I really like this truck. It's a fun truck to drive. I drove it to work the other day, got a lot of attention, and I really enjoyed driving it. So yeah, it would be a $20,000 truck. And I think that's a realistic number, probably a little on the high end for the miles. But it's in really good shape. It's in really good condition, interior, exterior, like that. It's really nice for an almost 20-year-old truck. Now my 1940 Ford Coupe, had this one for a little while too. I've really grown to like it. I enjoy driving it. It's got a 289 4-speed transmission, good cruiser. Interior is very nice. Paint is very nice. Show's very nice. It's got a great stance to it. Don't want to sell it. You know, probably a realistic number, I'd say mid-30s to maybe right around 40 for this car. It would take a little bit north of that for me to sell it. I got to say at least mid-40s. I could see letting it go. I would consider that. That would be a strong offer. Again, someone plops the cash down in front of me, you know, hey, we could talk. Getting down there, at least in this shop, my 1939 Chevy Coupe, it is tubbed in the rear end. If you guys haven't seen this car, it does have some fairly wide meets in the back. Just put new Mickey Thompsons on the back of it. And interior is nice. Paint is okay. It's not great. It's probably about a 15-footer. It's kind of dulled out a little bit. And you can kind of see if you look really close. It's not great, but it's nice. Interior is nice. It's an okay build. It's an older build, obviously. It's got a 455 volts, turbo 400 transmission. Really nice car to drive. Cruises down the road very nicely. I enjoy it. I like having it just because I like having the Pro Street look, but it's still fairly stock. I don't have to worry about, you know, major things breaking on it. We did shocks on it, and I've done a few things to it. It's got power windows, tilt column. And I don't really want to sell it, but I would say, you know, if someone offered me 30, I'd be very tempted. Someone threw $30,000 cash out, I would be very tempted to let that vehicle go. And that's not a completely unrealistic number based on what I know and what I've seen. So yeah, maybe, but I don't really want to sell it. The last one in this shop is my 2003 Corvette Z06. I've had a number of C5 Z06s. This is definitely my favorite. It's got MagnaFlow exhaust, and I had the windows tinted. I upgraded the sound system on it. It's been lowered on the stock bolts just a little bit. It is a very nice driving car, runs good. It's, you know, fast. I mean, these cars are rare, definitely still very competitive in today's world. Great bang for your buck as far as I'm concerned. Just still a nice looking car, a lot of fun to own, a lot of fun to drive. I've actually had a few people ask me about it here lately. I really don't want to sell it. I think that the realistic number on this car is probably low to mid 20s, maybe to the right buyer 25 is a very realistic number. I would be making money at 25. I don't want to sell it at 25. I'm not interested at this point in time at selling it. Probably will down the road, but you know, I would say it'd take a lot closer to 30, right at that 30 mark for me to let it go. And so yeah, I really don't want to sell it, but if someone offers me 30, I'll take it. I can't pass that up. Okay, moving into my wife's shop, we're going to talk about her 1970 Volkswagen Bus. Very nice vehicle. Gets a lot of compliments everywhere we go. It's got a 1641 single port motor, so it's very slow, but it is dependable. It sounds good, runs good, drives good. Nice bus. And you know, because it's not mine, it's my wife's, I'm not going to sell it. I thought about it for a second, but I really like being married. So I'm gonna pass and say no on her vehicles. I mean, if she wants to sell it, she can decide what she wants for it. Realistic number on this thing's probably 20 to 25 right now, I think, with the market. But I don't think she really cares. I don't think she wants to sell it. So in here right now, just taking up some space because I just got it back from Al's Transmission. Done a number of things to this vehicle. For those of you who don't know, it's my 1967 Chevelle Super Sport, blue on blue, 4-speed, 396, not a numbers matching car. But I just had the rear end re-geared, a little taller gearing. Got 330s in it now. It drives a lot better, a lot nicer. And had speedometer adjusted so that now it actually reads correctly. Had a little glitch in the transmission, which was very quickly fixed. And then had actually a brand new master cylinder because the master cylinder decided to take a dump while it was sitting down at Al's Transmission. And this is another car I really don't want to sell. I probably want to sell this just a little bit more than I want to sell my 65 C10. So it would take a fairly large number to pry this one out of my hands. Realistically, the car's probably worth right around 40 is my guess, based on the market and everything like that. This is a nice car. It's certainly not top of the line, nut and bolt, beautiful restoration. But you know, if it wasn't, it'd be probably like $75,000, $80,000. Realistically, if someone came along and offered me probably around 50, I'd be very tempted. I'm not saying I would sell it for that. I would be tempted. Probably wouldn't take it. So it'd probably take north of that to get me to start really considering it. And it's not, like I said, it's not that I'm being a jerk and wanting these high prices, because I really don't want to sell this car, is the honest to God's truth. But that is a number that I would start, okay, someone's serious if they're actually throwing $50,000 out in front of me, and I would have to strongly consider it because I know the car's not worth that. And this one, this is my daily driver, my 2012 Kia Optima. It's 4-cylinder turbo. I just put the wheels and tires on, had the tinted windows done. Really dig this car. I'm really enjoying this as a daily driver. And you know, I paid $11,500 for it. I stuck probably another, I don't know, roughly $2,000 into wheels and tires, tinted windows and everything like that. So when I'm into it, $13,500. Don't really want to sell it, so you know, I mean, I'm not that attached to it. So 15, I would consider selling it, buy something different. But you know, with the replacement motor, lifetime warranty on the motor, I really don't want to sell it. That's why 15 is a very high price for this car, and it's probably not worth it. But you know, hey, never know. All right, so for the final leg of this, we got to go over to the workshop because I got a couple vehicles over here at the workshop, and that'll finish everything out. But for those of you that know and have spent any time with the channel, of kind of seeing the background when I've been over at the workshop or what have you, and see me filming, I have to show you this because unless you follow me on Instagram, sorry about that, Instagram or Facebook, you will not know. But take a look at this. No more trees. There's been an orchard here for well over 30 years, and they have been all ripped out. So after I had my accident out here, and then with my mom getting a little older and everything like that, we both just decided it was time to kind of hang it up and just let this land just be leased out. So she found somebody, my mom did, and leased the land out to some very nice people, and they're going to replant. They're going to put trees back in. At least that's the plan as far as I know. But it's just so weird. You know, you look back there, and I'm so used to seeing trees, and now we just see the roads and everything off in the distance. And yeah, it's very weird. It's taken some getting used to, but I'm getting used to it. I am getting used to it. So let's go in the workshop, finish this out. Okay, we now enter the shop with the horrible lighting, so I apologize for that. But yeah, behind me, the DeLorean, my DeLorean. I love this car. I still love this car. The reason it's over here is because I took it to a Cars and Coffee the other day, which I did video on, by the way. But for some reason, all the footage got lost. I don't know what happened or why it happened. But car was a big hit. I immediately realized driving it that the brakes needed to be bled, and I had no turn signals. So right now Eddie is working on that, trying to get the turn signals working. He bled the brakes already, so I guess the brakes are a lot better. This thing also has a draw. It's really, really weird. I don't know where the draw is because it actually has a kill switch for the battery that I've always used before, and it's always worked. It's no longer working. So I have opted to go ahead and just buy battery tenders for all my vehicles, and I'm going to start leaving battery tenders on all the vehicles again, which I used to do in the past. I was hoping to get away from that, but I think it's for the best. This is another vehicle that doesn't get any mention. I mentioned it when I first bought it, but I don't even know what year it is. I think it's 2001 or something, I don't know, something like that, 2002. But it's Ford Taurus station wagon. I bought it just for Eddie to run around with, kind of use as a backup vehicle, and to run parts with and things like that. I drove it home from Sacramento after I bought it, and then I've basically driven around the block one time, and that's about it. I mean, it's here for me if I want to use it. If my car goes down or whatever, and I don't want to use a truck, I can certainly drive this, but it's 99% for Eddie. The other vehicle that's over here is the Gremlin, and this again is my wife's car. We're not going to talk about selling this car because it is my wife's car and it is not my place to sell it. And again, I like being married. So this car is over here because it might have had a catastrophic failure. It started leaking water, and I saw it one time, talked to Eddie about it, and then I forgot about it. Then I decided to take it around the block and brought it back, was letting it sit there, went to go get her bus out of the shoe shop and realized that it was just spewing out water, just pouring out water. Thought maybe it was a water pump, but it's either a head gasket or there's a cracked head, not too sure. Wouldn't surprise me if it's cracked head. This car has a lot of miles on it, it's got a lot of use on it. So if it is a cracked head, then, well, let me just say this. If it is a head gasket, then Eddie's already bought the gaskets. He'll replace all the gaskets on the motor, seal it back up, and it'll be good. If it is a cracked head, then we're just going to pull this motor out. I'm going to pick up a small block, probably a little 350, turbo 350 transmission, and we're going to figure out how to squeeze that thing into here and make this a V8 car. It'll be a mellow V8 car. It's not going to be anything fast. It's for my wife. She doesn't care about going fast, has no interest in that. Just that it's reliable and works, AC works, power brakes, power steering, and she can drive it, you know, reliably, and that will be the goal for this car. Just a nice little build. But no matter what, even if I go with just a very low horsepower small block, I'm still going to double the horsepower, and this thing should be actually kind of a fun little ride. So there's a part of me that, yeah, is kind of hoping that it is a cracked block and we can, or cracked head, and we can do this. But then there's another part of me that's kind of cheap and says, you know, 60 bucks for a gasket kit sounds a lot better than like $4,000 or $5,000 for a small block, and to do all the transition and conversion and shorten the drive shaft and everything like that, I'm just budgeting about $4,000 or $5,000. I don't know, we'll see. So that is basically it, with the exception of one vehicle that I just got. I only had it a few days and then I took it to Mercedes, and that's my 2003 SL55 AMG. It needed a couple things, and one of the things that was going on with it is it had a draw in the rear battery. Took it a week ago to Mercedes, and I told them to take their time. They're obviously taking their time. They still have it. I talked to the technician the other day that I checked the vehicle into, and he said they still haven't figured it out yet. So I'm kind of a little nervous about that bill and how much that's going to cost, because let's face it, Mercedes, the price goes up. Going to the dealership, the price goes up. But I really don't have anybody around here that I know of that really can service these vehicles and do really much of anything with these vehicles. So I'm kind of at their mercy right now. Pray for me. It's not a huge bill. I hope they figure it out, because once it comes back, then I bought a new intercooler pump that I want to put on it to help with the cooling. I want to do a little paint work to it, want to detail out the rims, put some different tires on it, and then hopefully drive it and enjoy it. You know, but we'll see. If I get in too deep with this car, I might have to bail out of this car. It might end up being a loss, might be a total, I don't know. I really don't know the situation with it, but I've got my fingers crossed, and I would appreciate it if you cross your fingers as well. Yeah, that's it, other than my wife's Dodge Journey, and that's not going anywhere unless she wants to sell it or trade it in. That's, again, on her vehicle. But yeah, obviously you can see there's really not too many vehicles I truly do want to sell. The ones that I put more realistic money on, yes, I would consider it, and we can certainly talk about it. If there's something that you saw in this video and you said, okay, well, that's not a bad number, maybe we can work something out, let me know, hit me up, leave me a comment, give me a contact. Give me your contact information, and we can certainly talk about it. But you know, for the most part, my thing is, you guys know me, if I sell something, I'm going to buy something else. I should be downsizing. I really won't downsize. I'm just not good at it. I've tried it. I mean, I just sold the Mach 1 earlier today, if you guys know, the 2003 Mach 1 I have for sale, and I said I wanted to sell it. I didn't want to replace it with anything, or replace anything with it, whatever. I didn't want to replace anything, or I didn't want to buy something else in its place. How's that? But I'm already looking, and there's a car I want to go look at that's not too far away from me, and there's another car I'm kind of considering, so it's like, okay, now I'm looking at two cars, and I really don't need to be looking at two cars, so I really don't need to sell anything else. But you never know. I mean, you just never know with me. I know, I'm what goes on up here, I don't know. I cannot explain it. Just know that you're lucky you're not me. So as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. My P.O. Box, Instagram will be in the description below. Guys, God bless. Take care. Have an absolutely amazing day.